Have you ever opened something you swore you'd never touch again? Some things should stay buried, but time has a way of forcing us to face the truth we tried to forget. I thought my wedding dress was safe, sealed in a box tucked away in the attic, wrapped in soft tissue and old memories. To everyone else, it was just a relic of a perfect day, a symbol of love and forever. To me, it was the coffin of a secret I'd promised would never see the light of day. It began innocently. My daughter's wedding was approaching, and she asked if she could wear my gown, something old, something borrowed. The request felt sweet, like a circle closing. Yet the moment she said the words, something cold pressed against my chest. I told her I'd look for it, smiling, pretending the past was harmless. That same evening, under a fading sunset, I climbed the attic stairs and opened the box. The scent of cedar and lace greeted me like a ghost. My hands shook as I lifted the dress, its fabric shining under the dust-filled light. That's when I saw it, a faint uneven stitch at the hem, one I hadn't made. Beneath it, something small, flat, hidden between two layers of silk. My breath caught. Decades had passed since the night I sealed that dress myself, every thread a promise to stay silent. But now, the secret was calling me back, whispering that no truth stays buried forever. And as I sat there, the weight of memory crushing my heartbeat, I realized there was no way to protect the family I loved without unsealing the past. Because sometimes a wedding dress isn't just a dress. Sometimes it's the one place you hide everything that could destroy you. And before that night was over, I would learn what happens when love and fear trade places. Before I tell you what I found hidden beneath that silk, take a breath with me. Stories like this aren't just about secrets, they're about the truths we all carry, the ones that keep us awake at night. If you've ever felt that tug between staying silent to protect someone and speaking out to protect yourself, then you already know the weight of what I'm about to share. If this moment has touched you, let the world know you're here. Tap the like button right now. That simple gesture tells me these stories matter, that honesty and love still reach people even through pain. And if you've ever hidden something to keep your family or your heart safe, write in the comments, ***, I've felt this weight, ***, those four words connect us. They remind everyone who's listening that we're not alone in our memories, and if this is your first time here, welcome to ***, the weight of memories ***, a place where truth, forgiveness, and redemption find their voices. Subscribe now so you can be here when the next story unfolds, because every secret we unearth helps someone else find healing. Now, keep watching. The attic was silent that night, but in the quiet, something inside that wedding dress stirred, something that would change everything I thought I knew about love, loyalty, and the past. The air in the attic felt thicker the moment I saw that uneven stitch. Dust floated like tiny ghosts around the beam of my flashlight, and every creak under my knees made my heart race faster. I traced the hem of the dress with my fingertips, remembering how proudly I'd worn it, the day I believed love could bury every mistake. I could almost hear the laughter from that wedding day echoing in the walls, but there was something else beneath it now, something darker. I tried to convince myself it was nothing, maybe an old repair, a loose thread, yet my instinct whispered that truth had its own way of calling us back. My hands were trembling as I reached into my toolbox and pulled out a small pair of scissors. One snip, then another. A line of thread loosened like a sigh, and out slid a small envelope, yellowed and fragile from time. The moment it touched my skin, I felt the weight of years press down, the memories I'd silenced stirring awake. The name written on that envelope wasn't mine, but it was tied to every secret I'd ever kept. I wanted to leave it sealed, to drop it back into the dark and pretend the past had never found me. But temptation, or maybe fate, kept my fingers still. The attic seemed to exhale around me, the old dress fluttering like it remembered to. I didn't open it yet, not then, but in that fragile hush, I already knew one truth. Some things aren't hidden to be forgotten, they're hidden to be found at the worst possible moment. If you've ever felt that sudden pull from something you thought you left behind, write one word below, ***, truth. ***, it's the only word that ever brings light to the secrets we bury. Morning sunlight spilled through the attic window, soft and golden, the kind of light that usually promises peace. But that morning it only made the dust shimmer around me like ash. I had the envelope in my hands, my thumb tracing its sealed edge, and I could still feel the weight of it pulsing through my veins. I thought about my daughter downstairs, humming while she packed for her own wedding, excited, unaware that her mother was frozen in the past. The sound of her laughter should have brought joy, but all I could hear was the echo of memories I had tried to forget. On the shelf beside me sat pieces of my life boxed away: photo albums, letters, a veil that had once framed a bride who believed love could never turn cold. I told myself to stop thinking, to tuck the dress back, to pretend nothing had happened, but once a secret has been touched, it's already begun to unravel. I set the envelope on the table and poured a cup of coffee, though my hands were still trembling too much to drink. My husband called from downstairs, his voice casual, normal, like the world hadn't shifted above his head. I stared at the dress spilling over the box, its white silk catching light, beautiful, innocent, deceitful. The truth was sitting inches away, sealed in paper, daring me to look. The longer I waited, the louder it became inside me. I felt it every time my daughter laughed, every time my husband said he loved me. Guilt can be quiet, but it never sleeps. If you've ever stood still, holding something too fragile to open yet too dangerous to ignore, comment below. One word: secret. Sometimes just naming it is enough to feel less alone. That evening, I couldn't stay away from the attic. Dinner plates clattered downstairs, and the hum of my family's voices carried through the house, but up here everything felt suspended, quiet, heavy. I turned the envelope over in my hands again, the paper whispering against my palm. There was no sender, no date, only that familiar handwriting I hadn't seen in years, a ghost of a name I'd promised never to speak. The air smelled of cedar and dust, the kind of scent that hides inside old memories. I set the envelope beside the wedding dress, now half unfolded, its delicate lace gleaming under the lamplight. Each stitch seemed alive, breathing truths it was too late to repair. Looking at it, I remembered how I'd chosen that dress not for its beauty, but for what it could cover. My past, my mistake, my fear. I had stood in that church, heart pounding beneath layers of silk, and told myself that love could bury everything. But buried doesn't mean gone. It only waits for the earth to shift. And that night, as the wind pressed against the attic window, I realized the earth was moving beneath me again. I brushed the dust off a box marked wedding, and out slipped an old photo, one that shouldn't have been there. A man smiling beside me in white, but not the man I married. Behind that smile was a story I'd buried deeper than the rest. The photo fluttered to the floor as I heard my husband call my name, his voice drifting up the stairs, and I froze. For the first time, I felt what he would feel if he knew the truth. If you've ever looked at something that reminded you of who you used to be, just comment one word below, memory. Because sometimes that's all we are before the secret returns to collect its due. The next afternoon, sunlight spilled across the attic floor like a confession waiting to happen. My daughter's laughter floated through the house, innocent, unknowing, as her voice called, "Mom, did you find it?" I froze by the open box, the wedding dress draped over my arms. Delicate and bright even after all these years. I wanted to tell her I couldn't find it, to lie just one more time, but truth has a way of pressing forward even when we push back. My throat tightened. Almost I managed to answer. The dress felt heavier than ever, as if it carried the weight of every secret stitched into its seams. I laid it across the table under the attic window, where a single beam of light caught the faded hem. There it was again, the uneven stitch I'd seen the night before, dull thread against silk, mocking me like a wound that never heals. My hands moved on their own, brushing over the fabric, squeezing it tighter until I felt the edge of that hidden envelope again, pressing into my palm. A shiver ran through me. Silence wrapped around the attic like a warning. Downstairs, someone knocked at the door, the sound echoing up the staircase. I turned toward it instinctively, but the dress pulled me back. Every fiber of me knew that if I looked inside, there would be no undoing it. And yet curiosity has the same voice as revelation, soft, persistent, impossible to ignore. My fingers tightened on the fabric. Something inside me already knew what was coming. If you've ever held something beautiful that also scared you, type truth wherever you are. It's amazing how that one word can still feel heavy and holy at the same time. That night, I sat on the edge of my bed with the envelope balanced in my hands, the house silent except for the sound of rain tracing the windows. The wedding dress lay across the chair in the corner, its white fabric almost glowed in the shadows, a reminder of everything I'd hidden beneath it. My fingers trembled as I ran them over the sealed flap, remembering the scent of that day, flowers, perfume, hope. I thought about how perfect everyone said the wedding had been, how no one noticed that the bride was holding her breath to keep the past from breaking through. The truth is, that day was beautiful only because of a lie. I pulled the small photograph from the box, the one that had fallen earlier. On the back, my younger self had scribbled a few words that made my stomach twist. Asterisk, for every promise kept, one must be broken. Asterisk, I couldn't tell if it was a confession or a warning from the woman I used to be. Outside, thunder rolled across the dark sky, shaking the walls the way memories shake a heart. I could still see his face, not my husband's, but the one I loved before him, smiling in the dim church light, a smile I vowed to forget. Every choice I made that day led here, to this moment with this envelope and this regret. I pressed the seal to my lips like a prayer, as if it could forgive me for what I had buried under lace and silence. If you've ever looked back and realized the past wasn't done with you yet, type asterisk asterisk memory asterisk asterisk below, a small word for everything we swore to forget. The following morning, sunlight felt cruel. It slipped through the blinds and landed on the envelope I'd left on the dresser, now bare and accusing. My reflection in the mirror looked like a stranger, eyes puffy, hair undone, face marked by sleeplessness and guilt. I kept glancing toward the chair where the wedding dress hung, folded neatly, hiding the place where the past had been sewn into silk. My husband came in, still half asleep, smiling softly as he kissed my forehead. "You were up late again," he murmured, unaware that the truth was sitting just a few feet away. I wanted to tell him everything, but fear and love often sound the same when they whisper. Wait, downstairs. I poured coffee and watched him read the paper, the way he always did. But routine couldn't mask the weight settling between us. Every sound, the scrape of his cup, the rustle of pages, felt like a tick closer to revelation. I wondered how many marriages survive on what isn't said. How many people sit across the table smiling while their souls crack quietly beneath the surface. I folded my hands and tried to breathe, but the secret had already been set free. It was alive now, circling around me, searching for a way to speak. As I stood to clear the dishes, the photo slipped from my robe pocket and fluttered to the floor. It landed face up, and his smile met mine once more. I froze. If you've ever felt the moment where the life you built and the truth you buried finally touch, comment the word asterisk asterisk truth asterisk asterisk, because sometimes it's the only way to remember we're still human. I waited until everyone left the house before I faced it again. The air upstairs felt different now, charged, almost expectant. I sat beneath the attic window with the wedding dress over my knees, the envelope finally in my hands. When I broke the seal, the scent of old ink and something sweet escaped, like the past breathing back to life. The letter was short, written in careful loops I'd memorized long ago. Asterisk, if you ever look at this, it means I didn't make it to our tomorrow. Forgive me, asterisk, my chest tightened, my eyes blurred. It was from him, the man I loved before my husband, the one I lost in a car crash 2 weeks before my wedding. I had buried his note the night before I married, sewing it into the hem so I could carry both pieces of love and grief down the aisle, believing I could keep them separate, him in memory, my husband in life. But memories don't fade, they ferment. And in that moment, reading his words again, I felt 20 years of honesty I'd never spoken finally break through the silk. Tears fell on the paper, smudging his ink, merging our past into the present. As I folded the letter back into its envelope, a voice called from downstairs, my daughter, curious, innocent, asking if I'd found the dress. My voice shook when I answered, "Yes, sweetheart, I found it." The truth was no longer sleeping. It was awake in my hands. If you've ever felt the past rise inside you after years of silence, comment asterisk asterisk memory asterisk asterisk, because sometimes it's the only bridge between who we were and who we're trying to be. The letter never left my hands that night. I kept it close, pressed against my chest as if I could quiet the truth by holding it tighter. When my husband returned from work, I was still sitting at the kitchen table, the wedding dress folded beside me. He smiled at first, then paused, his eyes catching the ragged piece of paper and the way my face gave me away. "What's wrong?" he asked, his voice too calm for what I felt boiling underneath. My words stumbled out, excuses wrapping around lies until even I couldn't tell them apart. But guilt has a temperature and mine was fever hot. He reached for the letter, but I pulled it back, a reflex, old fear rising like smoke. The silence stretched, sharper than any argument. Then my daughter walked in, her hair damp from the shower, smiling until she saw us. Mom? Dad? The letter slipped from my fingers, fluttering to the floor, landing face up where the familiar handwriting glared up at all of us. In that fragile heartbeat, I saw love, betrayal, and shattered trust collide. No one spoke. My husband bent to pick it up, his breath trembling as he read the first words. My daughter looked at me with the same eyes I used to wear, hopeful, frightened, naive. The truth was out now, and the walls of our house seemed to sigh from the pressure of it. If you've ever seen a truth slip out when you least expected, leaving you no way to turn back, comment ***, truth ***. Because some secrets don't destroy us, they reveal who was strong enough to stay. My husband didn't say a word at first. He just stood there holding the letter, eyes scanning the faded ink again and again, as if the truth might change if he looked hard enough. My daughter had fled to her room. Her door closed, but the sound of soft sobbing pressed through the walls. The silence between us was deafening, heavier than anger, heavier than grief. Finally, he spoke, voice low and raw. So I was never really the only one, was I? I wanted to scream that he was, that love isn't a measure of time but of choice. Yet the words caught in my throat. Truth doesn't need witnesses to destroy, it only needs a moment to breathe. He left the house before dawn, and the sun rose on a home that didn't feel like mine anymore. Cups on the counter, the dress still waiting in its box like a co-conspirator, and me, sitting in the wreckage of my silence. I wanted to believe that some hurts heal if you just wait long enough, but the weight of secrets only grows with time. Hours passed before my daughter came downstairs. Her eyes were swollen but calm. Mom, she said quietly, was that letter really from the man you loved? I nodded, unable to lie any longer. She didn't cry, she just sat next to me and whispered, I wish you had told me. If you've ever watched everything you built begin to crumble but knew it was the only way for the truth to set you free, comment the word ***, forgiveness. ***, because sometimes freedom is just love that's been through honesty and survived. Weeks passed, and the house slowly learned a new kind of silence. Not the kind that hides secrets, but the kind that grows after truth has been spoken. My husband eventually came home, and though his smile was different, his presence felt real again. We didn't pretend nothing had happened. We just learned how to breathe in the same room without avoiding the past. My daughter's wedding was approaching, and one afternoon she appeared in the doorway holding a box. Mom, she said softly, I want to wear your dress, if you'll let me. I froze, uncertain, but then something inside me eased. Together we opened the box. The silk was still beautiful, the stitch still there, but the weight of fear was gone. We decided to alter it, to make it ours again. My daughter helped me unstitch the hem where the letter had lived for decades. Instead of tears, we laughed as the threads gave way. Inside we placed a new note, written by both of us, ***, may the truth always fit, ***, when she walked toward her future in that dress, I saw love and memory woven together, not as punishment, but as grace. The past had finally found its place in the present, and it no longer hurt to look at it. If you've ever found the courage to face your own truth and stitch your life back together, write ***, I receive *** below. Because sometimes the secret doesn't destroy us, it rebuilds us into something stronger, softer, and finally free. If you've stayed with me until this moment, it means this story spoke to something inside you, maybe a truth you've buried, a memory you've tried to forget, or a love you're finally ready to forgive. These stories aren't just about pain. They're about healing, about finding the courage to look at what hurts and still believe in hope. So, if you felt something here tonight, subscribe to *** the weight of memories. *** this channel is where truth, forgiveness, and redemption find their voice, where every story reminds you that it's never too late to start again. If this story touched your heart, leave your like, it helps this message reach others who carry their own secrets in silence. And write in the comments, ***, I receive, ***, say it as a promise to yourself, because when we receive the truth, we also receive freedom. And don't stop here, the next video is already on your screen, and inside it there's another story that will challenge your heart and restore your faith. Click now to watch it, and keep walking with me through the weight of our memories.